The rescue team found her at dawn, when the twin suns of Cathera 4 cast long shadows across the crimson forest. Lieutenant Mara Keene sat perfectly still in a clearing, surrounded by 6 writhing cubs, each the size of a full-grown wolf, their obsidian scales glinting like polished armor in the morning light. And standing above them all, hackles raised and muscles coiled, was Varric. The alpha Ketharan predator was a creature of nightmares, 3 meters tall at the shoulder, with 6 legs ending in razor-sharp talons, a crown of bone spikes along its spine, and jaws that could crush starship plating. Its eyes, 4 of them, arranged in pairs, blazed with an intelligence that made it far more than just an animal. "Hold fire," Commander Torres whispered into the comm, his pulse rifle trembling in his grip. Nobody moves. Nobody even breathes. The rescue team had been searching for Keene for 3 days. Her recon shuttle had gone down in the deep forest, in territory that even the Galactic Survey Corps had marked as extreme hazard. The indigenous predators of Cathera 4 had decimated 4 previous expeditions. Protocol dictated they should have written her off. But humans, the galaxy had learned, didn't follow protocol when one of their own was missing. Now they watched, frozen, as Mara slowly reached out and scratched behind the nearest cub's ear ridge. The creature chirped, actually chirped and nuzzled against her hand. Another cub crawled into her lap, curling up like an oversized cat. Varric's growl rumbled like distant thunder. "She's dead," muttered Ensign Chikara, the Vexian combat specialist. "The moment that thing moves, she's—" But Varric didn't move. Not to attack. Instead, the massive predator lowered its great head, inch by careful inch, until its snout nearly touched Mara's shoulder. Its eyes, all 4 of them, fixed on her face, studying, judging. Mara didn't flinch. She met Varric's gaze steadily, her hand still resting on the cub in her lap. "Easy, big guy," she murmured, her voice barely audible across the clearing. "I know, they're yours. I'm just keeping them warm." The alpha's nostrils flared, processing her scent. Then, in a movement that made every member of the rescue team's blood run cold, Varric opened its massive jaws, revealing rows of teeth like serrated blades, and gently, impossibly gently, took hold of Mara's jacket collar. Contact in 3, 2. Torres's finger moved to the trigger, but Varric didn't bite down. Instead, the creature tugged, lifting Mara to her feet as carefully as a mother cat moving a kitten. The cubs scattered, chirping in protest, then quickly reformed around Mara's legs. The alpha released her collar and stepped back. Then it did something that would be analyzed by xenobiologists for decades to come. It bowed. Not a submission, not a threat display. A gesture of respect, recognition. The massive predator lowered its front quarters until its chest nearly touched the ground, its eyes never leaving Mara's face. "What in the void?" Chikara breathed. Commander Torres lowered his rifle slightly. "Keene, what did you do?" Mara finally turned toward her rescue team, and they could see the exhaustion in her face, the bloodstains on her uniform. Not all of it hers. Her left arm was bound in a makeshift sling fashioned from parachute cord. "I found them 3 days ago," she said, her voice hoarse. "The cubs. They were trapped in a ravine, separated from the pack by a landslide. I heard them crying." She paused, glancing at Varric. "I couldn't just leave them." "So you climbed down into a ravine," Torres said slowly, "on a death world with a broken arm to rescue the offspring of the most dangerous predator in the sector." "Yes, sir." Mara scratched another cub absently. "It took me 2 days to get them all out. The alpha found us yesterday evening, and didn't kill you." "No, sir. He watched me. For hours. Watched me feed them from my emergency rations, keep them warm, clean the smallest one's wounded paw." Mara's voice softened. "I think he understood I was trying to help." Varric rumbled again, but this time the sound was different. Less threatening, almost approving. The alpha moved forward and the rescue team tensed. But Varric simply gathered the cubs with gentle nudges of his massive head, herding them toward the tree line. One by one, they disappeared into the shadows of the crimson forest, all except the smallest, the one with the wounded paw. It lingered at Mara's feet, looking up at her with large, luminous eyes. Varric stopped at the forest's edge and turned back. For a long moment, human and predator regarded each other across the clearing. Then the alpha made a sound, a complex series of clicks and rumbles that seemed almost like language. Mara nodded once. "I know, take care of them." The Alpha's eyes gleamed with that uncanny intelligence. Then it made another sound, a short, sharp bark that made the smallest cub finally scamper after its siblings. But before Varric disappeared into the forest, he did something that would become legend among the human colonists of Cathara IV. The great predator touched his snout to his chest, then extended it toward Mara, the same gesture she'd seen pack members use when greeting their alpha with respect. He was recognizing her. Not as prey, not as a threat, as something else entirely, as someone worthy. Then Varric was gone, melting into the shadows with his cubs, leaving only the swaying branches and the soft echo of chirps to mark their passage. Commander Torres approached slowly, finally allowing himself to breathe. "Lieutenant Keene, you just befriended an apex predator that's killed 47 people. Mara smiled tiredly. "Not befriended, sir, just reached an understanding." She looked toward the forest where Varric had vanished. "They're not mindless killers. They're intelligent. They have families, emotions, social structures. They were defending their territory from invaders who shot first and asked questions never. The Galactic Survey Corps is going to have a field day with this," Chikara muttered. "Let them," Mara said. "Maybe it's time we stopped seeing every intelligent species as either a resource or a threat. Maybe it's time we tried understanding first." As the rescue team led her back toward the shuttle, Mara cast one last glance at the crimson forest. Deep in the shadows, 4 gleaming eyes watched her go. Then they blinked once, slowly, deliberately, before vanishing into the depths. The galaxy would learn many things about humanity in the centuries to come. Their stubbornness, their innovation, their relentless drive to explore. But perhaps the most important lesson was this: humans possessed a strange and remarkable ability to see the person behind the predator, the soul behind the scales. To extend compassion where others saw only danger. And sometimes in the darkest corners of the galaxy, that compassion was returned. On Cathara IV, the attacks on human settlements stopped that day. Varric's pack became guardians rather than enemies, protecting the colonists from other threats in exchange for food and medical care. The cubs grew strong under their alpha's guidance, and Lieutenant Mara Keene became the first human to be granted the title of pack friend by a species that had once been humanity's deadliest enemy, because she had done something simple, yet profound. She had cared,